Hare Krishna. Thank you for attending this episode of Reflections on the Bhagavad Gita. Tonight's theme is peacefulness. So, of course, the Gita covers so many perspectives on the cause of peacefulness and also the cause of anxiety. So there's individual peace, there's collective peace, there's international peace, but it all begins from each person. How can I be peaceful? So this is a very profound theme given by Krishna to Arjuna. And basically Krishna is telling Arjuna that the mind is the controlling, the supervisor of all the senses. It's the boss, so to speak, of the senses. The mind is doing two things, sochiti and kankshati. It is hankering, and then it's lamenting. Material pleasure, material possessions or proprietorship over material things, these are causes of anxiety. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is expressing, Lord Krishna is expressing the art of mind control, the art of bringing the mind to a place of peacefulness. The mind that's uncontrolled, as Krishna tells Arjuna, Bandhur Atman Manastasya Yenat Maivatmana Jitaha Anat Manastu Shatruve Vartatatmaeva Shatruvat. That 6th chapter is called Dhyan Yoga or Meditational Yoga in the Gita. And here Krishna is saying the controlled mind is your good friend. And the uncontrolled mind is your greatest of enemies, Satre. Satre means enemy. So what does this mean? Well, Icha Dvesha Samutena Dvanva Mohena Bharata. Samasarveshu Bhuteshu. That the living entity takes birth in this world in ignorance, overwhelmed by the dualities of desire and hate. Icha, dvesha, samutena, desire and hate. So the mind is, over so many lifetimes, being influenced by material impact, material impositions on the mind. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the 6 plunderers, or the 6 highwaymen, the 6 highway thieves that attack the mind. Kam means lust, or a desire to enjoy the senses, unbounded desire, intense desire, overwhelming desire to enjoy the material senses. So Kam, then there's Krodh, anger. Krishna tells Arjuna, Jayato Vishayo Pumsam Sangotesho Prajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Lust, Kama Krodho Vijayate, is the perpetuates anger. It's the cause of frustration and anger. Krodho Vijayate. Krodho Bhavati Samoha. One becomes bewildered by indulging in unbridled sense pleasure. Bhoga Ishvarya, Bhoga, sense pleasure. So, Samoham means bewilderment of the mind. So, Mahasmriti Vibramat, one forgets his real identity as a spirit soul, transcendental to the mind and body. Smriti Brahmat Buddhi Narsho, then the intelligence becomes contaminated, it becomes weak, it becomes fogged up, so to speak, brain fog. Buddhi Yoga, Buddhi Pranashiti means that one falls down again into material entanglements. So in our modern society today, because it's the age of Kali, or the age of darkness, Kali means quarrel or darkness, most people are being driven towards, indoctrinated towards simply material pleasures, material acquisitions, the going ethos, the global ethos, is acquisition and egoism, which is totally flawed worldview, because no one can be happy unless he connects with Krishna. So here, one of the themes is being expressed, themes for becoming peaceful. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya. Certainly one who is ayuktasya, or unconnected to Krishna, his mind will be full of anxiety. His mind will be full of chanchala. Chanchala means restless, here and there, coming and going, desiring, lamenting, hankering, lamenting. Chanchala hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridam. Arjuna tells Krishna that this path of Astanga yoga or Hatha yoga, these types of mechanical yoga processes, are very difficult. And this was 5,000 years ago. So he says, Chanchala hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridam. Tasyaham nigraham manye vayu eva saduskuram. The mind is like the wind. It's obstinate, it's very powerful, and it's restless, and it's impetuous. It just jumps for things. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, Jada Bharat, who is a self-realized soul, was preaching to Maharaj Rahugana. He's saying that the bewildered living entity is going through life as if in a forest of material enjoyment. And the 6 plunderers are these 6 pushings of the mind: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya. Matsarya means envy or jealousy. Mada means madness. Like it says on the cigarette package, if you smoke, you'll get cancer. So it's madness. People, oh yeah, let me smoke. Let me kill myself slowly. Mada. And Moha means illusion, to identify with this temporary material body and one's temporary relatives. So in this forest of material enjoyment, one becomes victimized even by his own family members. Just as it describes that the farmer is taking care of his sheep, but there's predatorial animals like foxes, wolves, tigers that come and steal his sheep. So the person in the forest of material enjoyment, that struggling living entity, he is working hard to accumulate wealth, not even realizing that those persons who he's protecting are actually compared to foxes and predatorial animals like wolves and tigers that keep stealing away his sheep money, his sheep wealth. And then it's described the government officials, they see a person with wealth and they want to tax him. So they're compared to vultures and birds of prey that's simply pecking away at his body in a form of taking taxes. And then he tries to take shelter in pseudo-yogis and pseudo-incarnations and god-men who are also exploiting him. And it's compared to a man who is burning up in the heat of a desert, and he jumps off a cliff because he sees some water, but the water is very shallow, simply breaking his bones. So this is the situation in our world today. The materialistic environment is very strong. Therefore, people are not very peaceful. Not only are they not peaceful, but the leaders are misguiding them. Desho kupata destrinam patatam tamasihi araya. Ye shudadana vachaste vai majanti ashma plavai. Means that those persons who are blind and they put all their faith, invest all their faith and devotion to blind leaders, politicians, are tantamount to those who enter into a boat made of stone, the captain being a blind captain driving a boat made of stone. They all sink in this world of samsara, this world of birth and death, and the world of miseries. So many types of miseries are there in our world today. diseases, natural disasters, wars, so many various kinds of problems are arising. So one has to first of all become peaceful by following Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna also describes that just as a lamp in a windless place, the flame is very, very straight, very unagitated. So similarly, a person who engages in devotional service to the Lord, Bhakti Yoga, Mam Cheo Varicharena, Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Sagunan Samatityaitan, Brahma Boyaya Kalpate, Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma, Nasochati Nakankshati, Samasarveshu Bhuteshu, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So in these verses, Krishna is advising Arjuna to transcend the influence of the lower tendencies of the mind, lust and greed and egoism and false pride and conceit, arrogance. These are all lower influences on the mind, and come to the state of Brahmabhuta, understanding myself as a soul which is locked up inside of this material body, which is going to die. And the mind is material, so it's a subtle material body, mana. And therefore it has to be controlled by chanting of the holy names of God. One who is always chanting the holy names of God, he's connecting yuktasya, yoga yukta vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriya. Krishna says, one who is engaged in my service by chanting my holy names, that means you are sambandha, connecting with Lord Krishna through his holy name. He is absolute, he is completely spiritual, and his name is full of so much potency, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sharva Shakti, that this destroys, like a fire destroying unwanted elements on the forest floor. So this process of bhakti yoga and chanting of the holy names of God destroys all the unwanted pushings within the mind. So Brahmabhuta Prashanatma. Prashanatma means to be joyous. Bhakti, by engaging in devotion to Krishna, by using everything, mind, words, body, wealth, family, house, everything in the service of God. This is called bhakti, or devotion to the Lord. When one comes to the stage of pure bhakti, devoid of the influence of these rajagun, rajasic tendencies, or tamasic tendencies, anger, envy, rajasic tendencies, material desires, and so on, one actually, prashanatma, becomes joyous and happy. And you cannot become joyous and happy without being peaceful. So this is the dilemma in our world today, that because no one is learning this great knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, this great education, Raja Vidya, Raja Guyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam Prakshaksha Bhagamam Dharmyam, Shushukam Kartum Avyayam, that this knowledge is the king of all knowledge, Raja Vidya, and is the secret of all greatest secrets. Raja Vidya Raja Guyam, the king of all secrets, because it's an internal knowledge. Prakshaksha means by subjective experience, I feel the transformation within my heart and within my senses and within my mind and consciousness. I feel a transformation of shanti, or peace, by following the path of bhakti yoga. I experience peace and subsequently joy and happiness. Prashanatmana sochati nakankshati. I never hanker for material things, nor do I lament if something doesn't come my way materially. Brahmabhuta Prashanatmana sochati nakankshati. Samasarveshu buddhashu means that I see all living beings equally, whether it's a dog, whether it's a high caste Brahmin, whether it's a Sudra, or so-called low caste laborer, or a malecha, one who eats meat, Vijavanaya Sampane Brahmani Gavihastini Sunichaiva Swapakecha Samadarshinaha. That a real learned person, Sapandit, Samadarshinaha. Pandit, a learned person, is one who sees the soul in all creatures, whether it's a tree, an insect. This is real beginning of knowledge. All material knowledge is a form of ignorance. It doesn't give us any real upliftment. It simply binds us in this world. So this is the greatest treasure and the greatest gift that we can offer to ourselves and to the people in general, all over the world. People are following the path of darkness, unfortunately, the path of materialism, which is simply a source of anxiety. Chintam aparimayam cha pralayantam upashritaha. Here Krishna describes as a materialistic or demonic person, his consciousness, chintam aparimayam cha, is full of anxiety. Pralayantam, until the end of life, so much anxiety. Kamapa boga parama, because they think only about their senses, how to enjoy or indulge, enjoying the material senses in so many unauthorized ways. The consumption of slaughtered animals is very sinful. People are very addicted to this. Consumption of intoxicants, alcohol, so on. This is also very degrading. So this is what the modern society is actually propagating. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you will die. But no one knows that after death, in a few months, you'll get another body. Maybe a dog, maybe a cat, who knows, depending on your karma. Karmana daiva naturana jehu jantu papatya striyo parishtumadarat pumsareta kanashvaya. Kapila Dev tells his mother that based on your previous activities in the previous birth as a human being, if you did not cultivate spiritual life, then you may take birth in the lower species, or you may take birth in some kind of a womb or seed or egg or something. It may not be a human birth. So the human birth is rare and it's very important. Kumaram acharat pragyo dharmam bhagavataniham durnamam manasujam janma. The human body birth is very rare, according to Prahlad Maharaj, speaking to his college friends, his classmates, preaching to them about the purpose of the human form of life. So it begins with understanding my spiritual nature and vairagya, renouncing gross material desires and impulses, and gradually practicing simplicity. Mana prasada shomyadvam. The mind has to be, mana prasada means mental satisfaction. Shomyadvam, without duplicity, being simple, simplicity. Not that I'm always calculating how to manipulate to get more and more material things. Monam atma pranigraha. Mona means gravity. One should be grave, like Lord Shiva is known as very grave, dhira, very dhira. He's very grave. So we should also be like this, very grave. Monam atma pranashyami. And self-controlled. Bhava samsudir iti etat. One should purify one's existence. Bhava samsudir. Purify one's heart, one's existence, by cultivating sattvic practices, sattvic behaviors, eating sattvic food in the mode of goodness, not disgusting, horrible kind of foodstuffs. Krishna says, Patram pushpam palam toyam, yome bhakta pranashyati, tadaham bhakti paritam, ashnami prayatat manaha. That I only accept, and you have to offer everything to God because He's a proprietor. And He says that the peace formula is to recognize that Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Bhuktayam, Bhuktanam yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram, sridam sarvabhutanam gatvamam shantim richati. The Lord Krishna, or God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is the object of all yagya. And He is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He created all the planets, all the galaxies, all the universes. There's trillions of universes emanating from the Lord's expansion as Karana Dakshay Vishnu. And in each universe, there's billions of miles of space. And there are millions and millions of planets with life on them, from higher planets to the lower planets. There's Lord Brahmas in every universe, Lord Shiva's in every universe, Agni in every universe, Chandra, Indra. These are all subordinate controllers to Krishna. So when we understand this, that Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Shridam Sarvabhutanam, He's supplying all living beings with foodstuffs, oxygen, air, water, all the various elements within our that we need to go on living, the body, sustenance of the body, supplied by God Himself. So the idea is to offer everything back to Him and then get Vaman Shantim. Then you'll become peaceful. Then you'll experience peace. Otherwise, there's no hope for global peace, United Nations, all this talk, unless we implement the teachings of Sri Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, unless we implement the laws of God and the instructions of God, how will people become peaceful? It's not possible. So that is the theme. This today is the theme of peace. Self-peace, individual peace, mental peace, and then collective peace, national peace, and international peace. It all comes from each person developing this practice of Bhakti Yoga. So we end here, and thank you for listening. Hare Krishna.